New tonight, our 11 Investigates team is following how distant landlords are changing Toledo's rental market. Toledo rent rates are soaring, and our team has found that out-of-state landlords are filing eviction cases at twice the expected rate. Lead investigator Brian Duggar has the story.
Now, 11 Investigates has analyzed more than 11,000 eviction cases filed in Lucas County during the past 2 years. And what we found was pretty startling. A disproportionate number of those cases were filed by out-of-state landlords. These landlords make up just 23% of Lucas County's registered rental owners, but they're 48% of the county's top evictors. Now that means these investors file eviction cases at roughly double the rate you'd expect.
We've seen this a few times recently with investors coming in buying up properties where we've had tenants that have lived there for 10, 12 years. All of a sudden there's a new owner and they're getting a notice of termination.
The most aggressive evictors stretch from Michigan to New York to California. Even within Ohio, numbers show most operate from outside Toledo. Here at Hunter's Ridge, more than 200 eviction cases have been filed during the past 2 years. The company with the most eviction cases in the last 2 years is Lucas Metropolitan Housing, with 442. But others are outside of Toledo, including the Arbor Landings of Lorain with 427 and Hunter's Ridge at 201 cases. West Apartments of Columbus is at 185, and 65 of the top 81 evictors are based outside of Toledo.
Yeah, they say something.
City leaders say there are other concerns. When tenants have problems with these distant owners, getting help becomes nearly impossible. Somebody in Toledo owns a property. They're going to care more about it. They're probably going to care more about their tenants.
And you could probably reach them. I mean, if they live in the city of Toledo, they got a city of Toledo address. So even if you can't get them on the telephone, you can go by their house, and leave a note or just sit out in front of their house. You can't do that when you have property owners that live out of state.
Conditions are also a concern of legal aid attorney Taylor Burns.
Many of these out-of-town landlords are buying up property sight unseen. They have no idea what it looks like. They don't know how bad the conditions are. So we have folks that are moving into really poor conditions.
And you can see here
for Donna Cherry, who rented from a California couple, the consequences were almost disastrous for her family. The home was not wired correctly.
The conduit pipe had snapped right off the home, causing a small electrical fire in the grass and leaving live wires active in the front yard.
Cherry says that was just the beginning. The management company offered up a generator, which caused serious issues.
We're woken up at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning to all the carbon monoxide alarms going off in the home. And it's because those carbon monoxide emissions are seeping into the house and causing all of the alarms to go off.
During the holidays, the heat went out, leaving the family in the cold over the holiday season.
We had to wear winter coats, sweatpants, sweatshirts inside the home. It might have brought us closer to as a family, but it definitely, I feel like, ruined the holidays for us for that year.
Stories like Cherry's are not isolated. At Executive Towers, tenants managed by an Indiana company say years of ignored complaints have pushed them to form a tenant union and place their rent in escrow.
I've called the company in Indiana for over a year. I kept calling about, please do this. They never return your calls. I called 5, 6 times someday. They got tired of me. And I just kept going on and on and on and on. And nobody returned my calls.
Multiple people told 11 Investigates the interest in Toledo is being driven by cheap housing prices, rooted in Toledo's shrinking population. Now, since 1980, the city has lost nearly 90,000 residents, leaving a surplus of cheap homes that attract these outside investors. The Toledo market has become prime hunting grounds for investors with deep pockets. In the spring, an LLC out of Baltimore snapped up 115 rental properties for more than $8 million. According to Dan Hamill, who teaches at the University of Toledo and studies urban housing markets, These corporations have little patience.
And it is absolutely clear that larger owners, more corporate entities, more organized, if you think of it that way, evict more than smaller owners, and they evict faster, much faster than smaller owners. In fact, they'll use eviction as a way of getting the rent paid.
Now, it's unclear what's driving it, but rents in Toledo are soaring. The average monthly rent in Lucas County has jumped more than 35% since 2021, from $780 to more than $1,000.
But since 2020 in particular, we've seen a huge jump with the cost of rent. And it's problematic even for tenants who have lived in their property for many years. Once that 1-year lease is over, there's no limitations in Ohio on how high a landlord could increase rent.
Council members say they're seeing the human toll every day.
I get pictures of what their living conditions are, and it's awful. As an elected official, it's disheartening.
City leaders are considering new rental licensing requirements to hold out-of-town investors more accountable.
We're in preliminary discussions. Other cities have done it. We're just looking and seeing how could it work for Toledo. And that basically will require a license. They will have to have a license to operate rental properties with 100+ units.
She says it's one idea, but the city has to do something to protect tenants against predatory investors.
Said that's a preliminary discussion that sees how that works for Toledo and how we can combat some of these out-of-town investors that are coming in just to basically come and pimp our community.
Reporting in Toledo, this is Brian Duggar for 11 Investigates.